What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to do a part 2 of the Mercury Through the houses and how to understand your thought process and how you communicate and how you go about thinking and communicating again through your areas of life, wherever you have Mercury at. So now we're going to get into Mercury in the 7th house. Mercury in the 7th house is an individual who likes to communicate about the things that they like to relate to, regardless of what y'all are into. And this could be related to the things that you're personally into when in regards to things that resonate with you on a personal level, aka the first house. So this is the energy that you need to balance too, because you have to understand that other people don't necessarily want to relate to the things that you're talking about. So when you access that opposite energy of understanding everybody else has their own individual things that they want to relate to, this is how you can balance the Mercury in Libra if you have this placement. And then, when you're communicating with like people that you're close to, especially like your partner, significant other, you have this ability to be able to communicate eloquently and in a way to where like the other person can see where you're coming from and everything. But then again, this is just Mercury. This is just communication. Your actions and your words have to match your actions, basically. Mercury in the 8th house. When you have Mercury in the 8th house, you're a person that likes to conversate, on a very deep level. Loves to speak about the occult. Even if you're a person that's not necessarily into the occult, you just find yourself always having deep conversations and wanting to connect with people beyond just wanting to relate on a surface level, beyond the 7th house. We're getting into Plutonian energy and the watery aspect of Mars, which is still passion, which is still, wanting to reach a certain goal, but it's like dealing with emotions. So it's connectivity. So when you have Mercury in the 8th house, you're able to connect with people on a very, very deep level. And then you also can unlock people. You can unlock people in a very spiritual way, in a lot of different ways too. But you have to realize that there are times where you do kind of have to communicate surface level, aka the 2nd house, opposite of the 8th house, in order for you to be able to get to the depths of communicating with another individual, a significant other of that sort, a friend. So now when we get into Mercury in the 9th house, Mercury is debilitated. Mercury is weak in the 9th house. So when you're communicating, it's fire, it's mutable fire, so you're able to express and people can understand where you're coming from, but the shit that you're saying might be in a way to where people think that you're way too much preachy or you're trying to shove like an ideology down their throat. You have to be able to take that opposite energy, the 3rd house, and be able to... Is this about to die? So you have to take Mercury being in the 3rd house, add it to that, your natural Mercury in the 9th house, to be able to understand where other people are coming from mentally and everything. You know what I'm saying? Other people have their own way of even philosophizing and everything. Other people have their own way of how they even think and everything. They don't necessarily want to hear what you're trying to say as far as the knowledge that you're trying to kick to them and everything. And you just have to learn to be able to see details also. And you also have to be able to do research on whatever you are studying in order for you to be able to communicate this in a way to where people actually understand where you're coming from. Since Mercury's debilitated here, if you add that energy of it being, powerful in the 3rd house, being at home in the 3rd house, having easy access in the 3rd house, then you're going to be able to make whatever you're trying to preach or teach or the knowledge that you're trying to say, or when you're trying to relate experiences to other people, or your high spiritual travels, it'll be able to make more sense. Mercury in the 10th house. So Mercury in the 10th house, you like to communicate about business. You like to communicate about building the blueprint to start a business for it to make sense and so we can build a foundation and so we can build stability so we can be comfortable in the business that we're in. But that's what you have to learn. You have to learn how to relate to other people on an emotional level, aka Mercury in the 4th house. Adding that opposite energy, the 4th house, to your 10th house in Mercury, and then being able to relate to people on an emotional scale to where whenever you are kicking business and talking business with other people and everything, it's not just cutthroat and dry and deadpan. There's feeling, there's actually purpose, there's actual connectivity that's being happening, and there's moods that are being shifted and changed for the better or for the worse. Mercury in the 11th house. When you have Mercury in the 11th house, you have to add that opposite energy of the 5th house. You love to communicate with people that you're not necessarily best friends or even friends with, but just people that, because that's what associates can be. Associates can be just people that are into the same thing you're in, but these aren't people you hang out with on a day-to-day basis. And this could also just be co-workers also at the same time. So when you have Mercury in the 11th house, you like to communicate with people who are into the same shit as you and everything. And you like to associate yourself with these people too. But at the same time, you have to add that Leo energy, and you have to be a little more expressive. You have to kind of stand out when you have Mercury in the 11th house, because you could appear to be some sort of alien or robot. Mercury is said to be exalted in the 11th house. So you may just run your mouth too much. You just may talk too much, to the point to where other people don't even see you as an expressive person. They just see you as an annoying motherfucker and everything. So you kind of have to add some like character and some like fire and some color and some charismatic energy to your Mercury in the 11th house. In order for people to understand where you're coming from, you're able to gain a spotlight on you, and then you're able to communicate even business ventures, because the 11th house is a lot like the 10th house, but you're actually taking this blueprint, the 10th house, and bringing it to the table, the 11th house, the meeting table. Now, finally, last but not least, let's say you have Mercury. Let's say you have Mercury in the 12th house. This is my Mercury right here. When you have Mercury in the 12th house, you love to communicate about your deep fantasies, your deep creativity. I'm a musician, so I love to talk about music and my favorite songs to people and everything, regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I can connect with people and everything. And so, but the thing where I can lack at, or where if you have Mercury in the 12th house, is that you're not focused on your creative aspects. It's just there. It's like a creative cloud, and it's just light. You can't even grab it. Your hand will go through that thing and everything. It's not obtainable. The more you can add that 6th house energy, that Virgo mutable earth energy, and you're able to like get your thoughts organized and be able to take your creativity and give it like an image, a tangible image, aka if you're a musician, you could actually create an album, a CD that's physical and tangible that you can actually touch and create, or make interactive albums or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just showing what you got, instead of just saying like, oh, I'm a guitar player and I play guitar really good, and then whenever you're playing, you're just like noodling or jamming around, and you don't actually have a concept or an actual creative concept that people can see regularly and consistently, aka the 6th house. Peace out, y'all. OneLoveJod36@gmail.com if y'all need a reading, and y'all take it easy. All right, peace out.